Alright, you guys, we're back. I'm on my desktop now. I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is that I'm lacking the browser source stuff that lets me show the chat and everything on screen, so I'll just read out your messages or whatever. The good news... the good news is that we got the clicky clacky keyboard back. I know you guys missed it. Some of that keyboard asthma, right? Which is really the main reason to come to this channel. So, let's finish this out. And I got marked. It's okay. Just go up. We really can't take much damage here at all, you know. I mean, we could. Certainly, you can always die on a character. Actually, we just got our D-missile robbed, so we'll put it back on. This is kind of how Shoals goes on one of these characters, a lot of up, down action. Since you can kill anything really fast, you're not really going to get trapped on a staircase, you know. Dude, we need to drop some stuff. Do we have Synv? No, we don't. So we need to keep the ring. Should probably keep the R-Core ring since we're going to be going to Slime before too long. Oh, we can drop a Zerk Rage. We don't need that. And we turn that off for pickup as well. Is there anything else we can drop? Not really. I could drop Mutation, you know, and just like come back for it if we need it. Actually, you know what? I can drop Paralysis. We've got Enslave now. You really only need one Hex. I mean, obviously it's ideal to have both, but meh. Also, we can drop Disintegrate. Again, it's like mildly useful to have the access to these wands, but it's not necessary. Also, there's another mark. 2 marks back to back. I guess I don't really care, but that'd be pretty obnoxious on a less powerful character. Oh, we got the 21% chance of Petrify to work on the water nymph. Sometimes it's worth it to try. Just walk away. Just walk away. Dude, 3 marks. 3 marks, 1 floor. Truly Ebering is a design genius. Development god, you know. I love getting marked 3 times on 1 floor. Anyway, we got this little vault, and there are gloves available. There's nothing in here I'm really afraid to kill. I guess there's the ghost, but he's just like a melee dude. So, I mean, we're just gonna open it up, I guess. and then LRD this stuff to death. Take them out. Take them all out. That was easy. Fascinating. That is an insane pair of gloves. Are you joking? +3. +3. MR plus, strength +3, slay +3. That is so good. Now they'll meld when we go into statue form if I decide to go the statue form route, which is unfortunate, but for the time being it's pretty incredible. Robe of Night is also available. That would give us Senv. Not a terrible thing to use, although Arc Magi is probably better. You know. Alright, I can't move up because the stairs are underwater. Okay, we're not going to petrify the avatar with 10% chance. Let's get this dude with stone, though. Stone LRD is pretty solid damage. Turn this dude to stone. There we go. All you really have to do is turn one guy to stone and then LRD. Clear out a whole pack that way, you know? Alright, we can go down. This is the final floor. To immediately get netted. And by the way, I screwed up. I have D-Missile not up right now, so let's blow a fear. Let's get out of this net. Let's go up. LRD this dude to death. Put D-Missile back up. That was worth the fear. Oh, we could get put to sleep. I don't want that. Let's go down a different staircase. Well, there's only the one. It's no big deal. Now it's a big deal. There's more coming. Where there's one, you know there's going to be a pack. Just have to sort of be aware of that, you know. And here's the 2. We got put to sleep. We didn't die. Let's go up. Okay, it was dangerous going down. I shouldn't have done that. There's also another one. How about let's see what's behind door number 3. And oh man, there's another. But this is a totally separate pack of these dudes. Fascinating, fascinating. Well, I think I'm gonna roll the dice on killing the one, and it does work. Let's kill the other one with stone arrows. That works. You know that there is an ice cave that I'd actually like to go into. You know, it's just a matter of, is the game gonna let me? And this is a lot of crap that I have to fight my way through, you know? Just made me fail D-missile like 4 times. Loud crackling of a distant melting archway. Whichever. This magic map real fast, see exactly where this thing is. It looks like it's over here to the left. Let's lightning rod to take this dude out, then go up. I guess I don't care too much if I miss out on this arch, this melting archway. Although I could just run for it. We're engulfed. We're engulfed. Such bad luck. Getting like insta-engulfed here. There we go. GG. Shields is back to 15. That's good. That's good, and now we have to choose exactly what it is that we're doing for the rest of the game. Shields to 15 means that we're, you know, running around with no penalties on our 15 skill required shield. Maybe we'll get rewarded for that. If not with an artifact shield, we do have 3 enchant armors, so I can pump that up pretty high. I don't know. Should I just pump Earth and go for Shatter? My instinct is that Staff Form is the way to go. Because Staff Form is basically always the way to go on a character like this. How about take Charms to 10, take Air to 10, just so I have, you know, slightly higher spell power on my D-missile. And then we can do... Yeah, we'll take Earth Magic up. Actually, you know what? We will take Transmutations to 12. Take Unarmed Combat to 12. We're going to end up in Staff Form. It's just the right move, you know? Especially considering this character doesn't have a god. What we really want is to become a defensive powerhouse, because we know that we don't have a panic button from having a deity. So not getting into situations where we need a panic button is the sort of ideal thing, you know? And I may bump my strength a little more, just to get good damage, you know? But that also makes it possible for us to conserve mana a little bit, you know? Dude, are we gonna make it? I think we're actually gonna make it. Bro, this is the Azure Jelly entrance. It's no joke. Dude, is it broken? Yeah, it's collapsed. Oh well. It's not the end of the world. We missed it, but that tends to happen. I mean, I'd say more often than not, when I try to make it to one of these entrances. Also, that's a really interesting graphical glitch. It looked like a collapsed icy archway before, and then for some reason it started looking like this instead. Interesting. Unsure what would cause that. Maybe the tide. Oh, we're marked. Wish we had lamp, but I have foolishly used it up. But we do have these lightning rod charges, so I'll just do that. In fact, why don't we immolate? Ice blast. This stuff will explode. You can use this mark kind of proactively, you know, to clear out this floor for us. Since we're sort of lacking mana right now. I wish we had more. Alright, that's fine. This actually doesn't reach. Okay. Now that does acid. Another explosion. Alright, I don't know what all's left on the floor, but I have a suspicion that... Well, I was gonna say I bet I could just clear this stuff out with the trident. But, maybe not. Well, we have the lamp. We have the lamp back. Why don't we just blow another immolate? Why not? Use the lamp. Use LRD. Okay, that clears out more of it. I wish I had some more Ice Blast, but I don't. We can just sort of lightning rod a couple of times. He dies to the fire. This one's going to die to fire, probably. Let's just wait a couple turns, though. See if more stuff comes. No, he'll just die to the fire. I can just wait around. Well, we'll LRD to finish him because the fire went away. Wow. It really is the whole floor. Alright, I don't really care about any of these rings or anything. I mean, we've got these two artifacts, phasing and robustness, arguably some of the best rings in the game. I feel like I should at least check this out. It is cold resist. I mean, that's nice, I guess, but yeah. Let's enchant up this shield. It's +3 now. That's good enough. Okay, so we can go back to Snake Pit if we feel like it. Statue form is online. Might as well go snag the rune, right? We left here because of Vashnia and her pack, but, you know, now we can kill things way faster. I mean, we could have gone through here anyway, before, if we had really felt like it, but it was just, like, unnecessary. Considering how easy Elf was with LRD, you know, it was just smarter to save it. You know, we're actually running through here without any R poison, but that's fine. I mean, we can go stat form to be totally immune to poison, so it's not really a big deal. We are at risk of getting tagged by like a big poison arrow or poison bolt potentially. This is probably Vashnia's pack closing in on me. Let's at least get MP back. Yeah, there she is. We'll go up. And then wreck her with LRD. Oh, she has a friend. Okay. 2, 3. Oh, she got up. Have to go to melee. This is really something. Let's pull her next to a wall. There we go. GG'd. That's a ton of damage. That's a lot of damage. Just pop a curing. Ooh, he could kill us. Let's blow a blink scroll. Due to haste, he can do a real number on us. Turn the corner, make a forest, drink a heal wounds, go stat form. This... Dude, let's just cast D-Missile. How about that? One of the reasons we're taking so much damage is that our D-Missile dropped. Actually, this is really annoying. Because he's getting pulled away from me. I wanted to punch him to death, but my own trees are creating an issue. But that's fine. Clear out that pack. Really got to pay attention to D-Missile. Honestly, it's very easy to, you know, if you're playing fast, it's easy not to notice that it's been taken off of you. Okay, let's make a forest. Let's watch this dude die to the forest. LRD. Nice. Still got plenty of mana, so let's just draw these dudes back into the stone. Now we're running out of mana, so we'll go stat form and we'll just punch to death. Ooh, D-Missile's over. LRD, punch, punch. Still only 4 UC, which is not great. How about we lamp a fire? Kind of get some nice damage, guaranteed damage on them. Virtually guaranteed anyway. Back into stat form, punch this stuff to death. I think that the end vault spilled out a little bit. Which is fine, it's just a little bit more tedious to clear it out. Oh, nice miscast. That was an error miscast, actually. Ordinarily, it would be kind of scary to be near Guardian Serpents on a character like this, even with my defenses as good as they are, just because they can put any number of things next to you, you know. But I mean, whatever. We've got stat form. We can pretty much just transform and be, I wouldn't say immortal in here, but you know, do pretty well for ourselves defensively. Scroll of Torment, we will not need that. Dude, how about we take out Slime? Can we take Slime? We're a little bit... On this character, we're a little early to be doing Slime. I probably could have done Slime now if I had focused on getting Crystal Spear online, but instead we went the stat form direction, which means we really want... Well, we want more unarmed combat. You know what? We'll only take Charms and Air to 9. We take Transmutations to 6. Take Earth to 15. How about that? Really don't need Transmutations that high. We're probably not going to be using Dragon Form, and that's if we even find it. Let's go into Vaults. Come to think of it, we haven't finished Dungeon. So something I often find myself doing. Just like forgetting to finish Dungeon. So we get a nice little tabathon here. Let's check out this artifact. That is not Arc Magi, so I just don't care. Okay. Let's go down. There's almost nothing down here that can hurt us. I mean, I guess that in theory, maybe like an Ogre Mage or a Wizard could get real lucky and sort of LCS us to death, but it's not likely. Not likely at all. Found a ring. Of course, it's garbage compared to the godly Ring of Shaolin, or Phasing as they changed the name to, and the Ring of Robustness. Really wild that we found both of those rings on the same run. That's always a fun time. Just tab through this stuff. Again, we could have done this earlier, but Dungeon is just so swingy in terms of what it throws at you that it's often best to leave it until it's a joke. Because, I mean, getting shafted into a group of skeleton warriors or something on the wrong character can just be GG all by itself. You know what? Go stat form and swing this stuff to death. Wouldn't it be nice if we found regen? That would be icing on the cake right now. Alright, we could do vaults. Why don't we just finish out dungeon since we know it'll be easy on this dude? May as well. We're gonna have to do it anyway, you know. So if it's like risk-free, it's... You know, if there's really one piece of advice I can give you on routing in this game, just do the thing that's not risky at all. If there is such a thing. Sometimes there's not. Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Get petrified, bro. Weapon shop, I don't particularly care, although I guess, you know what, we'll see what the broadaxe is. Why not? It's actually quite good. If that had been like plus 11 speed, we could go for it, but nah. Artagus, is my keyboard that noisy? So I was playing on my laptop like I usually do. Alright, because I don't have the chat up, I should probably say what he said. Artagus said, after Darkest Dungeon tonight, we play Noisiest Dungeon. Yeah, it's, that's my mechanical keyboard you're hearing. Basically, I was playing on my laptop like I usually do, and it started thermal throttling, which, if you don't know, is something, especially MacBooks, but really every laptop does, I think, to some degree. Just like starts throttling your processor because, you know, the thing's overheating, right? Which meant that Dungeon Crawl started playing really slowly, which was kind of untenable for the stream. Now, your guess is as good as mine as to why that was happening. I mean, I was rendering a video at the same time, but I turned that off, and then it was still throttling, so I don't know if it was just still hot, or what. I mean, really, it's kind of an ancient MacBook, so... Whatever, man. When those new Ryzens come out, we're gonna have just a completely sick machine, and it'll be a dedicated streaming machine, but until then, I'm just gonna have to sort of wing it. Today I learned to respect Ice Fiends more. What happened, DKeggers? Oh, by the way, because my alerts are not turned on this box, if you like sub to me and I don't say anything about it, obviously there's not going to be alert. There's not going to be an alert until I fix that on this box. Just like let me know, and I will, you know, I'll also try to keep the window open on my other machine so I can kind of see it in real time, but I might miss it, so just let me know. Ice Cave, DKeger says, Ice Cave and lost an easy gargoyle, what's a GrMI? A gargoyle minotaur? Probably monk, I guess. Gargoyle monk win to not recognizing the threat. Oh, FI, fighter, okay. Ice Fiends are actually post-game content. You'll only see them in the regular, like, 3 to 4 rune game in the orb run or in certain vaults, and you'll also, of course, you'll see them where you saw them, which is in an ice cave. I don't know if you know this, but the way portal vaults work, ice caves, volcanoes, things like that, is that you get one version of them. Hey, we got regen. You get one version of them if you're finding them in like the dungeon or the lair. You get another version of them if you find them in an S branch. S branches are the rune branches that are in lair. So shoals, snake, spider, that kind of thing. And when you go into shoals, snake, spider, etc., and you find an ice cave, at the end of it, you're not going to find a frost giant like you might in the lair or dungeon version. You're not going to find a necromancer like you might in lair or dungeon. You're going to find an ice fiend. So yeah, ice fiend directly replaces necromancer in most cases. So you'll get some of the same layouts, but the final boss will be different. And ice fiends, like I said, they're post-game content, so they're very, very strong. They can torment you, stealing half your hit points, and Bolt of Cold you for tons of damage and do tons of melee damage. Yeah, RN+++ is nice versus Torment, but it's not a silver bullet. I mean, you're still getting something like, I think, 35% of your hit points stolen from you. And then if you don't have RC, like, they can do an enormous amount of cold damage to you. You sure you can't get the Ice Fiend if it opens from lair? You know, maybe you can put up the doesn't he signal, because he's the one who's always more sure about these things than me, because he does the code diving and I don't. But I will say I'm like, I guess I would say 95% sure that you cannot get an Ice Fiend from lair. I'm pretty sure that's always a Necromancer instead. Well, or an Ice Giant. The Frost Giant one is a lot of fun, I think, because as long as you have a immolation scroll, he becomes a joke, you know. You just emo his whole pack of animals and he goes down, you know. Dude, I cannot keep miscasting. There we go. Could have killed them if I would have looked them up. If so, it's on me, really. Yeah, Keggers, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, but you learn something, you'll play slower next time, or at least you'll be aware of the threat, you know. You should definitely make a habit of XVing monsters like this, you know, because it'll tell you most of what you need to know, you know, and then examining abilities you're not familiar with, like, you know, for this guy it's Petrify. But like for the Ice Fiend, it might have been Torment. But I mean, I don't blame you for not knowing a lot about Torment, because like I said, you don't have to deal with much of it in the standard 3-4 rune game, really. Oh man, we got robbed. Donald sometimes has a really good shield, but today it's just a +0. Dude, the metal. The metal walls are so abusable. DKegger says, I had a V5 death today as well due to some dispersal trolling, and that was tilting. Dying on V5 is never, ever a good time. Very frustrating because it often feels really unfair, especially if you just aren't, I mean, you have to lay your game down really flat to have a good, consistent time on V5 every time. It is not easy. So I can definitely understand how tilting that is. Bro, look at this ring. Look at this ring. Minus telly. I'm tempted to wear that just so I don't get teletrapped. I mean, I don't want to give up robustness or phasing, but I mean, having minus tele is pretty solid, and it's even int +4. Dude, I'm tempted. I mean, I'm going to carry it for Zot for sure. Maybe for more branch ends, but we need to drop some crap. We're having serious inventory management problems this game. I wonder... Oh, dude, polymorph. Get that out of here. Get that garbage out of here. I was joking with people that this is now a keyboard ASMR stream. You know, I used to stream from this box all the time. And like most of my early videos, you'll hear the keyboard just like clacking happily in the background. Man, LRT is so good. You know what? Let's just pop on Senv. Okay, do stat form, tab this stuff, put robustness back on, I guess. I think we're about at the point where we can just stat form for the win. Tagus says I checked out icecave.des. That's the vault. That's the file that specifies how the vault works. It seems that D, layer, and org generate the easy ice caves 100% of the time and always hard otherwise. Yep, that's how I thought it worked. I was pretty sure. DKeggers said I should probably try a caster sometime, but I tend to get to like D9 and get domed by some unique. Yeah, casters are a very different game than melee. I mean, casters are, well, they're fragile, as everybody knows. Maybe this book will have Iron Shot. That'd be nice. Man, statue form is going to let us just tab from here on out. That's going to be nice. And you know what? We've got some gold available, so maybe I can check out that book sooner than I thought. Let's put on our Staff of Earth so we have higher spell power, and then... Oh, wait. I should check what this ghost is. Okay, it's just melee. I can kill the statue and do a lot of damage to the stuff around it. Take a step. Blow up the translucent stone wall. And use the metal, which does even more damage. Go stat form. Just for defense. This is doing nothing. Why? Because his AC is gargoyle status. So I'm just going to try to melee him with the help of the tree. But he just does not care, man. Look at him. Look at this. Look at him just messing me up. Oh, we got him. Okay, we'll get this gold. I mean, we could get the book soon, I guess. Okay, that's Sojobo. Sojobo he'll get wrecked with LRD. Also, why don't I put D-Missile back up? It's nice when facing a Yaktar captain. Frederick, the most easily underestimated unique, even though he's got Iron Shot. That was some hot demigod on demigod action there. A lot of people don't know this, but Frederick is actually a demigod, or at least he's supposed to be. You did manage to, DKegger says, I did manage to reflect a net onto Herald today, so that was pretty nice. Reflecting nets always looks silly as hell, but I'm okay with it because it's so cool. I mean, that seems great to me. So yeah, very good, man. Are we hungerless on statue form? Not quite. Not that it really matters. I mean, we have tons of food. What are your tips for playing casters? DKegers asks me, other than to play slower, which I'm sure would help. Well, a lot of it is just making sure your fundamentals are good. I mean, the things that you should probably be doing with a melee guy, but can get away with not doing, you're not going to get away with not doing on a caster. Holy shitoli, we are getting owned. Let's teleport. Anyway, so what do I mean by that? I mean like line of sight type stuff, backing things off every time that you know, the fight is not trivial, and so on and so forth. One of the reasons I like using stat form so much is that it makes me stop having to play quite so carefully. You know, so it's like I get to cheat and not really be playing a caster anymore. But, I mean, really one of the biggest things is your skilling, right? A lot of people think they don't have to train defenses on a caster. You do. So what you really want to do is, like, if your character... Here's the basic rule of thumb. If your character is killing things, you know, if he can kill things pretty easily, it's time for you to stop training, you know, fire and conjurations. Let's say you're like a fire elementalist. It's time for you to stop training your kill dude stuff, and it's time for you to start training defenses. Like, if I've got Bolt of Fire online, there's almost nothing in the game that can withstand me at that point. So that means I should be getting my dodging and my fighting online. You know, at least up to 10, maybe even 15, you know, is not out of the question for a caster, just like any other character. That's going to give you a little more wiggle room to not get owned. Another thing is that if you're going to play caster, not all spell schools were created equal. Like, sad to say, but certain spells really are just better. So transitioning into those spells is always a good idea, almost always, depending on your aptitudes. You know, summoning as a school is just amazing. You know, a lot of playing a caster is about knowing which spells are ideal. Like, summon Lightning Spire. For some reason, you know, it's been broken forever. But they just don't fix it, you know? Which is fine, like, I'm happy to abuse it, but it is sort of silly, considering how broken it is. And everybody knows it's broken, you know? So it's like, for a level 4 spell with only 2 schools, it's such a tiny experience investment, you know, that pretty much anybody who finds Lightning Spire should be using it. And if you're a caster, you've already got that spell casting investment, and you've already got that high intelligence because you're pumping your int every single time. So getting a spell, getting like a bread and butter, obvious no-brainer choice like Lightning Spire online is even quicker for you. So you have like no excuse, you know, for not doing it. But another side of it is just sort of knowing, you know, what spells can win the game for me. Because Lightning Spire is great, but it's not gonna deal with the entire game. It'll deal with almost the entire game. It won't deal with the entire game. So at that point, you want to ask yourself, what am I moving towards that's going to finish this game out for me? You know, and there's not a very large list of spells that will actually finish the game for you. There's a huge list of spells that will get you too close to the end of the game, but not too many that can actually win it. Well, that can win it without you tearing your hair out. I mean, obviously you can, if you really want to, you could like Fulminate Prism, you know, Orbs of Fire if you're really so inclined, but let's say you don't want to do that, you know. Check out that immolate. But yeah, I mean, like, so you really want to think about like, how can I kill Orbs of Fire? How can I kill electric golems? How can I do this safely? You know, how can I kill ancient liches? You know, all that stuff you want to be able to kill with maximum safety. So, you know, I have kind of a short list of spells that really make that whole process super easy. Things that I would really like to go for if I can. Iron Shot is great. You know, you get the spell power high enough, and you're killing Orbs of Fire super fast with it. You're killing everything super fast with it. Even high evasion things like electric golems are going to go down to Iron Shot if you've pumped it. The level 9 spells, of course, you know, will pretty much always solve your problems for you. What am I doing? There we go. But like level 9 is, it's overkill. Like you don't need level 9 spells. Those are basically memes for species like deep elves and demigods to enjoy. Dude, it's the elemental staff. Dude. Suddenly I don't want to be using staff form anymore. Also another Protex. We could actually pop on elemental staff. It's one-handed, believe it or not. I think. Yep, one-handed. That is tempting. What race would you go for? I hear a lot of people like Gargoyle Earth Elementalist. For like your first few caster wins, honestly I would play, to save yourself the trouble of the skilling mini-game, which a lot of people screw up on. What I think you should do first is a Null Wizard. You get to enjoy really high intelligence. You get to enjoy starting out with really high spell power. And, you know, you get to enjoy not having to mess around with the skilling system. And then go like Ashen Zari or something to pump your skills a little more, and you actually could do level 9 spells if you wanted to. And you get to play around with all the different spells in the game because you're not messing with the skilling system. So whatever the game happens to drop for you, you get to use. Artagas said, Orb of Destruction and Haunt, those are also really good single targets. You can actually kill an Orb of Fire if you haunt it enough times. Very good choice. Orb of Destruction is going to kill anything that's, you know, one-on-one. When used properly, it'll kill anything. So Iron Shot, Orb of Destruction. I really like Malign Gateway. You know, you can cast it and then walk away, and it'll kill pretty much anything in the game. summon horrible things, which sometimes people call XXX, will summon a bunch of abominations for you, which, as you can imagine, is pretty silly. Pretty silly. So, that's a thing. I mean, there's probably others that I'm not really thinking of right now. Other than for Null, what are the magic gods? Vehumet and Sifmuna, question mark. I actually don't like Vehumet. I think that he encourages you more to be a hybrid than anything, because he gives you mana back from killing things, but then you're very rarely killing things with spells with such efficiency that you're actually getting all your mana back. So stopping for a minute to swing on stuff is really what he wants you to do. Vehumet is kind of funny if you want to get Firestorm online crazy early, but other than that, he's more of a meme. Sifmuna I like. You know, the fact that you can channel and restore all your mana insanely fast is just great. I actually would recommend going Gozag, because Gozag is broken as hell, and on top of that, you know, you can buy bookshops if need be. And I'm not sure if you think that I was suggesting that Ashen'Zari is only good for nulls, but I actually think that Ashen'Zari is good as a caster god for any species because of the fact that she gives a full +5 to your mana skills, you know? So +5 to mana, or to spell casting, and then to your spell schools is pretty amazing. Crackle of Arcane Power. There's a Whiz Lab. That's exciting. That's exciting stuff. But it's nowhere near here. So we're going to tally. We're going to link. Going to LRD this pack. We're a little bit closer now. Put on regen. Oh, this thing can actually paralyze me with my body armor off. Let's just kill him fast. Gozag seems fun, DKager says. I've been pretty limited in my exploration of gods. Yeah, and I think that's common because the gods, each god requires really janky, sort of specific playstyles to do in a lot of cases. And then, like, the game honestly is not particularly balanced in terms of the different gods, which is on purpose. I think gods are kind of meant more as a difficulty slider than a real choice, you know. Dude. Let's reach in. This is kind of awkward. Oh god, it's Menace. Yeah, Statue Form's outrageously good. I wouldn't say it's overpowered, but it is quite good. You know what? We're going to train defenses up to 15. And then we're just going to train unarmed combat. You know, there's a lot of funky things we could buy. We could eventually get that elemental staff, but it's 3,000 gold, man. It'll be forever till we can get that online, so let's just do the smart thing and stat form it up. Let's haste. Let's might, or actually let's agility. Can you confuse me? 20% mass confusion. That's okay, we have a 13 stack of curing. Let's use might. Kill this stuff. Just punch him to death. He can confuse, but we're hasted and whatnot, so it's no big deal. There we go. +0 large shield. What a shame. But yeah, statue form, it's good, but it takes a long time to get it online. Is it as good as just you know, using plate mail and being a big melee guy? Probably not. Trying to get to this whiz lab, but the game doesn't want to let me do it. It's probably up here, by the way. Wait, what the hell? Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, never mind. I thought this was like disconnected. False alarm. Go in. Okay, this is one of the older Wiz Labs. I'm not a big fan of it, but this character is going to have a real easy time in it, because it's a bunch of statues that we can LRD. We'll get some books, I guess. Maybe we'll get Iron Shot, you know? Oh yeah, usually you have to be really, really patient in here, or the statues will Orb of Destruction you to death. It's very hard to die in here, except by being really impatient. Although the Draconians, I guess, are no joke. I mean, they are the most powerful kind of Draconian, but they're also just basic ones. But they are purple, so gotta watch out for that. This place is kind of funny because it was sort of the victim of the thing that the DCSS devs do, which is to say it's, you know, feature creep. They took away the fact that Orbs of Destruction blow up walls, and now this place just doesn't function how it should. Because it's supposed to give you little walls to hide behind, which slowly get destroyed if you spend too much time doing it. You know, it's just like pure laziness, really, that, like, obviously the place is very different than what it used to be now that that's changed, and they just never bothered to update it, you know? And you may think that that's just a minor thing, and it kind of is, but I don't know, it just seems kind of lazy to me. They're in such a rush to change things about the game, but they never... I've noticed this is kind of a consistent theme with the development of this game, is like they make these changes and they don't pay an awful lot of attention to the side effects, you know. They're just like, whatever. Punch this dude to death. He'll take us out of stat form, but we just put it right back up. LRD turns this place into kind of a joke. And here's another thing, like, before the door would have gotten blown up, but now it doesn't. Manual transmutations. Robe of the Arc Magi. Interesting. Irradiate. Alright, alright. And Vile Clutch. Well, Vile Clutch is broken as hell, so we're gonna get that. I mean, this, I guess, was the Wiz Lab to find on this character, considering that we're a caster, and now we got Iron Shot. Or we could have Iron Shot. We will in a minute, anyway. I suppose I should probably use the Transmutations manual. Artaga says, with some help from VT, I figured out how to parse these stupid Lua things. Seems like Ice Cave Toombish can have a fiend on easy too. That may be an oversight. Maybe not, I don't know. Let's drop the Robe of the Archmagi. Unless we're casting Shatter, we really don't need spell power. Or Iron Shot, I guess, but meh. Unrelated, how do you feel about B-Crawl bumping up SLS and BVC levels? Well, it certainly seems like proper balance to me. Sort of shocking that the devs of this mainline crawl haven't done that by now, but I don't know, man. I was really excited about B-Crawl as a project until I found out about the staircase thing, which to me makes the game virtually unplayable. You know? But it sounds like he's doing quite a few things correctly. But I mean, the only thing that's ever going to happen in terms of like me finding a fork that's actually doing everything perfectly, I'm just going to have to make my own fork for me to feel that way, I think. There's a lot of other stuff like that still, like Invis and Darkness, the same level, Artaga says. I mean, Darkness, I might actually lower the level of Darkness. Invis, I would probably keep where it's at, since it trivializes a lot of the game, but 6 is reasonably hard to get to. Artaga says, really, I think the staircase is great, needs tweaking, but it adds so much extra tactical depth. I hate it. I think teleporting is kind of a lazy mechanic. I think that if you're going to create mechanics that deposition the player, I think that they should always be tied to an enemy, something interactive, something that the player can make choices around. I can't really make choices around staircases because I always have to go down them. You know? I either have to go down or I have to go up. I hate the randomness of traps in this game, and sort of extending it to every single time I go down a staircase is just asinine. When I sat down to play the BSDC tournament, I went from D1 to D2, and I got teleported into Robin and an adder, and Robin's entire pack. I probably could have survived the situation if I played a little bit more carefully, but nevertheless, I mean, I don't really want to have to deal with that. I mean, it just seems silly to me. Sure, maybe it shouldn't be teleporting, but think of it this way, Artaga says. Vanilla traps are bad stuff happens when you explore, which you gotta do. Now it is like bad stuff happens when you stair dance, which is a cheap tactic that should have some sort of cost to it. See, I don't know if I agree with that. I think that stair dancing is sort of the fundamental core mechanic that this game is based around. And I'm not sold on the idea that stair dancing is something that needs to be dealt with. But even if it is, well, here's the way I've been putting it, and it's a bit crude, but this is how I've been putting it. Yes, explore traps are stupid. I think Ebbering might literally have brain damage for having set them up in the way that he has. But with that said, it's like, if I set down that particular pile of crap, and then I pick up another sack that's also full of crap, it's gonna stink. Either sack that I'm holding, they both smell bad, you know? Like, what is the point of getting rid of one really awful mechanic and then just adding something that's effectively just as bad, maybe even worse? You know, like, how about we don't have just, like, purely RNG mechanics in the game, you know? Your argument, Artaga says, your argument is that the mechanic is bad because it's random. I mean, 90% of the game is random. You finding a +8 electric rapier in D2 is random and it breaks the game. Not really. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, randomness to some degree is fine. Randomness in loot is great because it creates interesting narratives. Ones that are interactive. Like, if I play a game where the game just doesn't give me much in the way of resources or good loot, you know, I can still win that game. It doesn't introduce, you know, not finding loot is generally not going to introduce by itself an unwinnable situation. Like, okay, I didn't find any blink scrolls. That's frustrating, but it doesn't make the game unwinnable. Now, shafting me on D10 down to D12 in a room that's very small and filled with skeletal warriors and like a wizard that then proceeds to instantly LCS me and kill me, that's a no-win situation if you don't have the right resources to deal with it. So my issue is not necessarily with randomness. My issue is with randomness that introduces non-interactive deaths. Deaths that make the player feel like they just got bad lucked. You know, that is the worst thing, bar none, that you can do to a player. It makes the player not want to play your game anymore, you know. I like to think that I have a fair amount of patience, but when that happened to me on D2 in B-Crawl, I was like, well, this is my whole tournament. There's no mulligan round in BSDC. It's like, gee, I guess I'm just done. You know, I'm going to enjoy my 0 points for this run. And I thought, I'm just not going to play this tournament anymore, you know. That was enough to make me just say no to it. And it's, I don't think it's a good way to go about balancing your game, you know. There's got to be better stuff you can do. Following things are random, Artegas says. Out of death spawns, AC, evasion, block, spell success, miscast effects, monster spell choices, energy damage. Any of those can kill or save you in the right situation. Right, but all those things you just mentioned, except maybe out of death spawns, all of them can be manipulated by the player. Like if my AC and my evasion screw me over, I can find ways to reset the fight. You know, at the end of the day, I know the maximum damage that a monster or a set of monsters can do to me at any given time. That's not hidden information. Well, it kind of is, but I can look it up. But if I get, like, teleported from D1, if I go from D1 to D2 and I get teleported into a bunch of crap, I don't have the resources yet to deal with a situation like that unless I'm playing like an Artificer, or maybe I'm like a Berserker, I can just Zerk and kill everything. You know, inherent unfairness is something that you just have to avoid, man. Alright, I'm a sucker for broad axes. I have to at least see what this is. I'm probably not going to use it, but... I mean, it's big. It's plus 10. It's tempting. Oh my god, it's even got Ant plus 5 on it. Do we want to stop training unarmed combat so we can use this broad axe? That's cheating. Oh my gosh. How tempting. Artagus says, "Are you not?" Question mark. Am I not what? Yeah, Edort says this might be the best broad axe I've ever seen. It's pretty good. It's not speed, but it's pretty good. It's pretty amazing. Are you really not going to use it? Well, I've already got unarmed combat up to 13 is the thing. And it's like Arlek, I have Arlek from stat form. MR plus, I can just wear the trident. The Ent plus 5 is the thing that makes it sort of valuable, but no, I'm gonna not get lured by memes. We're gonna stick with stat form. The only time I would have switched is if it was like speed or something. I gotta say, this is one of the biggest things about Dungeon Crawl, and it's one of the most frustrating things about Dungeon Crawl. And a lot of people don't know this, but Dungeon Crawl is a game that heavily rewards you for just staying the course, you know? And by that I mean like just like sticking with a plan, even if you find some kind of meme weapon that looks like it's better, 9 times out of 10 you want to preserve the training and what you've already done, you know? Yeah, it is a great stat stick, but this is fine. What am I doing? Let's LRD this. All right, hold on. Before I continue here, he has elemental staff. Nothing is a great stat stick anymore, Ortagus says. Yeah, I don't actually have it. I don't have the money for it, but and I don't really see us getting it since it's like 3,000 gold. But oh shit, we need to level up before we can get Iron Shot. DKeggers is asking me, do you generally do Slime Pit over V5? Well, I generally do both, but I generally do Slime Pit first because it is so reliably straightforward. There's nothing in here that can surprise me. What do I want to do about this? I just hate the slime AI, DKeggers says. I don't know what you mean by that. Did we level up yet? Yeah, we did. Actually gonna take conjurations to like 5. It's basically free at this point. The way they combine together, yeah, it can be annoying, I guess. But you can force them to pull apart every time they attack if they have room to do it. I think they have a chance of doing that. By the way, Iron Shot's really good in here. Oh, I should probably just punch these dudes. Ooh, can we be confused? 8% chance of confuse. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's put on this MR Plus instead, which kills our defense a little bit, but what we don't want is to get perma-confused in here. How long is the Elliptic Streak? Yeah, it is 43 wins, DKeggers. Idort is correct. What do I want to do about... we want to BVC this guy and then Lightning Rod his ass because we don't want to get mutated. Could get confused. Let's pop the MR Plus on again. Pop the Ring of Robustness back on. Oh, got mutated, but it was a good one. Okay, I used Summon Forest. Let's try to keep our friends between us and the... yeah, and the mutator. And it works. Yeah, it was in fact broken by a Spriggan Enchanter, as Adort says here. By the way, sorry again about the lack of chat. My laptop overheated earlier, and so we're doing this from my desktop today. Check out how good Iron Shot is in here. Oh, crap. Crap. We just got teleportitis. Okay, we're gonna go down. I know I have teleportitis, but... dang it. Look at where it put me, dude. Look at where this thing dumped me. Look at what this thing did to me. This is why I hate slime. Well, okay, this is okay. I just wanted to kill the, you know, this dude. And then I'm gonna drink my mutation potions because we can't be running around with teleportitis. Okay, now we only have occasional shouting. We have a beak, but we're already wearing a hat, so it didn't wreck my helmet. So I'm happy with this. Teleportitis always has a sense of humor, DKegger says. Yeah. Tagus says, okay, sorry, I further updated my .des reading skills. There is no ice fiends in the easy cave. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think it was possible to get an ice fiend. Iron Shot continues to just erase my enemies. Screwed up. I spent a turn doing stuff next to a shining eye. Let's VSEE him. Okay, hold up. We can technically be paralyzed if we're not if we're not in stat form, or if we are in stat form rather, because our body armor gives MR. So we're gonna have to kill this dude, which we do, and then we'll go stat form, making us much more able to tank this stuff. Yeah, no problem, Artagus. I mean, DESs can be very confusing to read. That's one of the reasons why I really don't like to code dive them. I guess it's not really code, but you know what I mean. By the way, I'm looking for another downstairs because this one leads right to the royal jelly. He's already woken up. Had a little bit of bad luck there. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's 200 damage possible. That's actually more because I am a statue. So I move slowly. So let's blink. Enslave. He resists. Enslave. He resists. Enslave. He resists. We're talking 63% resists, man. Getting a little annoying. Tempted to immolate. I'm real tempted to immolate. Okay, there we go. Blink. Ice blast. No, you know what? What the hell am I doing, dude? Let's just bail. What am I doing? Come on. So silly. Put on regen like I should have done a while ago. Go to the staircase and rest. So goofy that I was sticking around there next to things that can do 100 damage. Come on. How not to do slime, you know? Pull these up. Key is to pull a few up at a time. Iron shot the acid blob to death, punch everything else to death. I mean, we have 13 scrolls of blinking. I think we can afford to get out of these kinds of situations at our leisure, you know? Guess I miscast Iron Shot, made some smoke. I should put demissile back up. Again, something I forget with stunning regularity. When you play fast, even with a force more, it's very easy to just not notice that your demissile went off. Check it out. BDC him from here. And he dies with no risk of mutating. Here's our friend. We don't have a ton of mana, but I think we're going to go for it anyway, because we don't need mana. Going to go around. We're going to pop on Ring of Phasing instead of Resist Corrode. We're going to drink Agility. Going to get a little more space on this dude. Oh man, this is crap. Drink Resistance, drink Might. I kind of messed this up a little bit. Resist, Haste, Might, Agi. Staff Form, Fists. Punch, punch, punch. Take a step. Take a step. Do a net. We're corroded, which is a shame, but you know what? We're gonna make it work. Get the net, punch him. Net went off. Use another net. Punch him. Punch him. Use a net. Punch him. Wow, really terrible. Terrible luck. Let's Iron Shot to finish him. It works. Let's lamp of fire. We don't have Immolate like I'd like. Let's Clouds. That's the perfect Clouds we could have asked for. Really, really good. Regen. Take tons of damage for some reason. Probably because we're, well... Oh, our haste ran out. That's why. You know what? I'm going to drink a Heal Wounds. These things are all going to die, is the thing. Let's help them along. Nice. clouds really did it for us. All right. Again, not the smoothest delivery I've done on that fight, but not terrible either. Just a little bit awkward. I probably should have just bailed as soon as I realized there was an acid blob, but we had already used some resources to get ready for the fight, and I didn't want to... It's kind of doing that sunk cost fallacy thing. Do not need the Ring of Shadows. Manual of Armor we certainly don't need. This wacky helmet is quite nice, but we can't even wear it because we have a beak. Boots of Running. I don't care about the Boots of Running because we're already slow from the hat. I mean, I want it. I should probably use it. We'll use it. I can always enchant it up later, and the thing is, it melds when I'm in statue form anyway, so whatever. I'll take the AC hit, such as it is. Running is quite good. Arguably one of the best things in the game, really. Just a little awkward on this character since I'm already slow from the hat. Okay, that is all the stuff. Drop the Ring of Pro Cold. Okay, yep, let's keep going. So that is slime. Now we just need to decide how exactly are we going to do V5. But considering we have like a hajillion blink scrolls, I think we'll be just fine. Okay, so first of all, you want to look and see if there's a hatch. There isn't one. By the way, I'd like to dig this out, but I can't. No dig wand, you know? Anyway, we kind of want to stay out of stat form. And just kind of pull this stuff up. I guess what I could do is I could put on the trident, and then anything that's not an ancient lich will not be able to do any hexes to me. That's pretty good. As long as a warden doesn't show up, should be able to just melee this stuff down with the power of BVC plus punches. Really amazing. And if a warden does show up, you know, we have tons of resources to deal with that too. Okay, fine. I'll go up. You know, I'm tempted to LRD. I'm just gonna BVC this stuff, actually. This shouldn't make too much noise. Weirdly enough, I care a little bit about noise here. Just a bit. Okay, you cannot kill me with paralyzed just yet, because I still have the trident on. Oof. Big damage. Not that big, I guess. Let's go up. Blink. I just didn't want to get a very nasty surprise in the form of like an LCS from that ogre mage. You never know. You never know. You could get owned. Was that a random blink? Artagus is asking, are you talking about when I was here and I blinked over here? Yeah, I just cast blink. I knew it would take me, you know, out from the center of everything at the least. Well, was likely to anyway. I suppose I probably should have just used a scroll, but I don't think I was risking death. I suppose maybe if the Ogre Mage had like LCS twice in a row, I guess it was possible. Which could happen because I'm slowed from being a statue. Almost every spot was a good spot, yeah, I agree. So we've gotten rather lucky because there was no wardens. Yeah, no, it was the spell. I try to avoid using the scroll, you know, if I can, because it's such a good resource, although its time is running out in this game. Forgot to add blink to my random list. What random list? What are you talking about? Just good spells that you like to use? I mean, blink is so good. It's one of those spells that everybody should get. Manual of long blades. We certainly don't need that. Oh, here's a problem. Gotta have my regular armor on and the trident. Alright, we know his book now. It's Lightning Bolt, Orb, Paralyze, and Haste, so it's very good that we didn't get paralyzed by, you know, playing correctly. Let's BVC, let's Iron Shot. It's not quite enough. Unfortunately, we don't have mana, so let's just acid him to death now. He can't really do a ton of damage to us, since that's, you know, outside of paralyzing you, that book is not very scary. Artagus says, the one I posted earlier about random things in DCSS. Well, yeah, but that, you know, I would posit to you that there are two different kinds of randomness. And blink is actually, I think, a perfect example of good randomness, because blink is something you're choosing to do. So you're making like an educated guess, right? You're saying, I know that there's this many squares I can land that are good, and there's this many squares I can land in that are bad. I can sort of maximize the chance of something good happening, I can minimize the chance of something bad happening, and if something bad happens, then maybe I have like a backup plan to deal with it. I love blink for that reason, because it's like really the perfect kind of randomness, the kind that the player chooses for himself. Dude, what am I doing? Let's at least get a lamp going here. I'm just teasing you, but I understand your taste in this now, I guess. Yeah, no, I know you're just messing around. I'm not like, not like coming down on you. I'm just like, it's a really interesting subject, you know? And I could see where other people might disagree. It's, you know, obviously, this is not a cut and dry kind of like, you know, this is the way it is kind of thing. Like, it's 100% subjective. Someone may very well think that that's the opposite of good game design, for all I know. Artaga says, suppose the fundamental difference is if you regard DCSS as a competitive thing or more of a create random dungeon delving stories thing. Kinda. In the former, you might want fairness in your sense. In the latter, you might prefer having random high adrenaline situations, fair or not. I don't know, wouldn't the ideal thing be to create high adrenaline situations that are also fair? You know? I don't know. Maybe it's impossible to have both. Or at least very difficult, I would certainly say that much. But I don't know, man. It's not necessarily about competitiveness to me. It's just like when I'm designing, if I was designing a game, the number one thing in my mind at all times is how does this make the player feel? You know, and frustrating the player, you can only get away with so much of that. You can frustrate the player a little bit, but it's got to be building to something, you know? It's got to be building his skills up. It's got to be like Dark Souls is a good example of this. You play Dark Souls for the first time, and you just get your ass handed to you. You play 10 times, and suddenly you're like a champion. Like, you know what you're doing, and, you know, it comes from a place of, like, you as a player, not your character, but you have become better at the game. You know, and suddenly you can do things you didn't think were possible before. Yeah, I mean, sure. Okay, so Artaga said, like, getting D2 shafted with vanilla traps is silly unfair, but it also leads to some of my most exciting miracle getaways lately. Certainly. And it creates, I'm not going to lie, that can be a very compelling, fun kind of narrative. But for every time you have a very compelling, fun kind of narrative, probably 10 other times you just get owned. In a way that feels deeply, deeply uninteractive. And that's fine, I guess, in a game that maybe doesn't, you know, is not meant to be winnable through your own choices, like most, if not all the time. But this is a game that actually does encourage you to streak, you know? I can see where you're coming from, though. I mean, I don't think your viewpoint is bad, so to speak. It's not the kind of game that I think DCSS should be. At least in my mind, but I mean, I can definitely see where this is an opinion, you know, it's not a fact for either of us, so, I mean, I can't say, like, my way is the best way for everyone. I can say I think that it's the best way for me. But I'm really not sold on it being impossible to have the best of both worlds. Oh, streaking is, yeah, no, okay, so Arctaga said, I mean, streaking is still somewhat possible. You're going for 9 now, aren't you? Sure, it's possible. But it is mildly annoying to know that the streak could be snipped at any moment, just by virtue of bad luck. Alright, so we did Vaults 5. We got Vaults 5 done. Can probably go ahead and win, actually. Interdimensional Caravan A. Tagus says, I lost my Che Minnow run in B-Crawl to double Orc Priest spawning D2 in a bad place. Could have survived, maybe. Yeah, well, I don't really feel bad. I wouldn't feel bad about that because, well, Che... Che is difficult, you know, and Che is meant to be difficult in a way that's like you chose that start, you know. DKeggers is asking me, you finish V5 before depths, question mark. Yeah, I prefer to do that often. Depths is one of the most dangerous swingy places in the game. you know, and if I get teleported in depths, I could end up in a very disgustingly horrible vault. You know, there are a lot of really poorly balanced vaults in this game, and many of them show up in depths because the game expects you to have the resources to deal with it. Okay, fine. But the other thing that can happen... Oh, shit. This is a Lori Pro or whatever. Hold on. Really? Dude, I gotta... Hold on. They're resistant to electricity and fire, but, like, he really should be dying. Alright, well, Ice Blast. There he goes. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, depths, the problem with it is, like, not only could you get teleported into a nasty vault, you could get shafted. And now you have to deal with even deeper depths problems where it's, like, not easy for you to get away. I mean, I prefer Vaults 5 to that if my character's ready for it. I mean, if my character's ready for depths, he's ready for Vaults 5, probably. Bro, the Necklace of Bloodlust. I wish I had found this before I dedicated myself to stat form. Kind of a meme at this point, though. Unless we were to get, unless we were to get clarity somehow. Dang, what a shame. That's a good item. That would solve my MR problems, but we can't exactly swing with it on. You know? So we'll just buy enchant armor. And we'll enchant up our shield. Get these potions. I don't think I'm going to spend the money on the necklace. Hope you didn't sell your products. Wait, wasn't there a minus Tele ring in there, Otagus says. I'm wearing a minus Tele ring. It's in my inventory. I'm not wearing it, but I have it in here as a swap. But yeah, we obviously don't want to deal with Star Rage. It's just too dangerous. I'm thinking by level 27 on a demigod, you can live with just one MR plus from the hat, you know. Should be enough, maybe. I don't know, we can just not go stat form, you know, for fighting liches and things like that. Part of the problem is that we have a ton of MR, but it's all from items that get melded, you know. Hello, Senshi. How you doing? He says, nice rings, never had both in one game. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Watch me find the Amulet of +8 SH now. Wouldn't that be cool? I guess we do have Amulet of Air I could pop on. Kind of living without Twitch alerts today. So if you follow me or anything, that won't pop up. So my apologies in advance. But I'll have that fixed by the time we stream again. Had a few issues with my laptop, so I'm doing this from my desktop today. Hello! Wand of Digging, excellent find. We now have 19 charges of that. That's really, really useful for the orb run. Did you know that Boggarts have really bad MR? So I can just petrify them and then blow them up? This crystal. How perfect. How's this ghost? Oh, he's got spells. Well, we'll throw D-Missile back up. That's a good one. Okay, we'll open him up. Can we kill him? Yeah, we can. LRD should be good enough. These guys are gonna get memed on. With the crystals. The Iron Giant. And a manual of short blades, which we don't care about. Okay. And a ghost that just has blink. These crystals are really outrageous. Okay, so this blink is going to make this guy really obnoxious. We could just win in a straight fight, you know, fist punching with stat form, but yeah, that was convenient, Artagus. Having crystal available with LRD is always a fun time, man. Alright. Let's go down. Did we use up our transmutes manual yet? Yeah, we did. Okay. More crystal. All right. This is like a convenient, you know, super conveniently LRDable floor. Sort of a themed floor of shatterable things. Kind of cool. You know, if I wanted to, we really could get Shatter online. Oh, Artagus says he's going to sleep. Good luck. Alright, man. Have a nice rest, dude. Kind of odd to see an Azure Jelly just hanging out here, but whatever. Let's play chess sometimes? Yeah, man. I'm down for that. I need to stream some more chess. Honestly, I have been seriously considering starting to stream chess daily, just some non-zero number of games. That's really the only way you're gonna get better at something, is by doing it a lot. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't get better at something. Just all you have to do is put time into it. Just deliberate practice will take you so far. Really, really, really far. Dude, what am I doing? Let's just back off. What is this floor, man? Just like LRD heaven. Imagine if I had Shatter, it'd be doing even more. Wow, I did not mean to turn all that on. Fighting, dodging, unarmed combat, earth magic, take evocations to 15. I believe that's how our spells are going to stay for the rest of the game. Although, if I want to actually get Shatter online, I'm going to have to probably... Well, I guess I could Amnesia off Petrify. That'd be a way to cheese out 4 levels. And Pass Wall. Get rid of that. You know what? Let's make a quick run. Take out Pass Wall. Take out, what should we do? Petrify, you know, it's a real option. Maybe, actually, you know what, let's take out Pog. Because we're not going to be able to use it in Zot anyway, and we're coming up on Zot, and we have freaking 13 scrolls of blinking, so whatever. Alright, and then we'll level up and get another spell level that way. Because I actually do want to get Shatter online. We're marked. Unsure how much I care. Wow, that is a Caustic Shrike shapeshifter. I think we got this vault last time we went through depths. Could be wrong. Can't get over how many LRDable things are on this floor, man. Tailor-made for this Earth Elementalist. Alright, we've found a ton of crap. Identify the amulet. Identify the ring. Don't need it, don't need it, don't need it. I suppose we could use like a shield ring instead of, or a shield amulet instead of regen magic, but having regen magic is quite nice, as I've always said, for a demigod. Okay, that's the floor. Still no malign gateway. Also, what's over here? I think it's just lava. Dude, imagine if we were shattering. How nice that would be. I mean, I could just tab this stuff down, though. Or I could just LRD it down with, alright, this works. Take you down to Crystal Town. If I stair dance, I don't need to worry too much about my mana. Okay. He's copying the stone giants. I'd really like to kill the Rock Sasha, but he doesn't want to go down. Got him. Which kills the clones. Sorry about the flashes. This is meant to warn me about invisible things that are attacking me. It's a decent ring. Don't need it though. Probably should keep it around because it's plus blink in case I, like, I don't know, get silenced somehow, but... Oh wait, can we be paralyzed by this dude? Actually, yeah, we can, so let's stay out of stat form around him. I think we finally found it, the character who doesn't actually want to be in stat form, really. So I'm going to stop training on armed combat, and we're really going to push this guy into shatter territory. His int is just so high, you know? Take conjurations to 10. We could pop on a robe of Arc Magi, but I think I'd rather just play defensive. And we'll still use stat form for when we run out of mana like that. Just to finish, you know, mop up the fights. DKegger said big brain. It's galaxy brain, man. Galaxy brain demigod. He's wearing a fedora, you see. Jory's no match for my iron shot. He is atheist, that's true. That's true, DKeggers. Nothing against atheists, but, I mean, if you think about it, the demigod really is enlightened by his own intelligence. Is becoming atheist the first step to becoming a demigod, Lindris is asking? Maybe. I don't know, man. I feel like... What's that British guy's name? Richard Dawkins? Has he developed supernatural powers yet? That's the new lore. Demigods are just neckbeard atheists, and that's the reason they can't worship a god. So how does that explain the extra mana they get? And the two stat points per 3 levels? Does Richard Dawkins get 2 stat points per 3 levels? He might. I don't know. Just got acquirement. I don't even know what to acquire, to be honest. Gosh. We could acquire gold and try to go for this elemental staff, but I think it's a little superfluous at this point. We don't really need any books. Sort of a weird situation here where we just don't need anything. I guess I'll take gold in case I decide to go for the staff. There's an invis boy causing me issues. You know what I'd like is like a really sick amulet. Maybe I should have gotten that, you know. If we found like an artifact with regen MP and then some other stuff on it, that'd be pretty ideal. Alright, that's it. Putting on the Synv just for a moment. Lindra says, could be neat to have some mechanic where Demigod can destroy altars and gain something. I don't know. Well, Demigod is a really dumb species. It's easily by far the worst designed species in the game right now, which is a shame because a proposal was made a while back which basically had this idea that demigods would gain the powers of random gods, kind of like, you know, demon spawn mutations as they leveled up. It was really cool. Kind of a mix and match kind of thing where they'd get stuff from different ones as they leveled up, not just one. So you could get like major destruction, but then you could also put plants around you with growth, you know, that kind of thing. And this got sort of semi-implemented in bcrawl, a fork, although it's still not random yet. They're still working on balancing it. It's just kind of a set group of powers. But I don't know, it's just funny because that proposal got completely shot down because it didn't, not because it was bad, but because it didn't come from one of the you know, sort of in-group people, you know, which is unfortunately how development in this game works, is like either you're in the in crowd or you're not, you know. Come back with Shatter. DKegger says, my fork would just remove Mara, Hungry Ghost, Unseen Horrors, Shafts, and it would be a good day. I think I probably agree with all of that except for Mara. What's the problem with Mara? I like Mara. She is sort of like a really obnoxious enemy. Which is a great example of like a challenge you can send the player's way that they have to put a lot of thought into dealing with. You know, nothing is forcing you to fight Mara as soon as you run into her. Mara's XE and ignore almost all the time. You could go that direction. I don't think she's that bad. This is a trove. It wants a +6 Demon Whip. We have a ton of enchant weapon lying around. Enough to put this +1 Demon Whip of Flaming to +6. Just fight Mara on stairs and she is easy. Yep. That's one way to do it, although it doesn't totally trivialize her, because, I mean, of course, she can just summon more allies upstairs, and of course she's still got the bolt of flaming, which can do a good bit of damage, and the biggest problem is that she's pretty tanky. But, like, you can do some things to trivialize her outside of just, I mean, the staircase thing, that's a good start. But then you could also use, like, anti-magic, you could use vulnerability, and then, like, paralyze. Technically, you could polymorph her with vulnerability, although you might find yourself dealing with a, well, you'll probably find yourself dealing with a Doomhound at that point, and you really probably don't want to get howled, because Shadow Fiends can show up. Yeah, I would also remove a Jib from a Dream Fork, or just make monsters not use wands. What a boring, lazy sort of mechanic that is. I'm just gonna let my low-level monsters, you know, use items that can one-shot the player in some situations. Genius. Well, we have OCPA. We have Hat of the Bear Spirit. I love getting cloud wanded by a jib on D2. It feels great. Well, this is why I'm forced to wonder if Ebering and the rest of the dev team like literally has brain damage, because they recently made it so that monsters can not just use, you know, they already could use acid wands, which can one-shot the player at the early game. Then they made it so they can use scattershot and cloud wand, which again can one-shot the player in the early game unavoidably. Just unavoidable death. If you turn the wrong corner, you just get owned. And to me, this is one of the worst things you can do to the player experience, is make them sort of force them to deal with a horrific situation like that. But, you know, whatever. I guess that's great in Devland these days. Alright, this trove was mostly a bust. I mean, yeah, we got OCPA, but are we going to use it? Of course not. Got Hat of the Bear Spirit, which is like, it's nice MR, but I'm already getting MR from my hat, and it's giving me int +5, and it's not draining my mana. I mean, all things considered, I think I'd rather just have the Hat of Pondering. God, you level so slowly as a demigod. I would be 27 by now on any other character, I think. It's okay though. We're a king boss pimp, you know, on this character. We're not exactly losing, you know. Oh, we got shoved off. Alright, we'll staff for him. We'll BVC, we'll punch, we'll punch, we'll punch. Punch some more. LRD this stuff. Yes, I know that I can get BVC'd, or excuse me, LRD'd by this Deep Troll Earth Mage, but he's not going to do it next to friends, so just kill it all, walk up and rest, and then go back down. By the way, we leveled up, so we can have Shatter. But is it castable? No. Not really. I wonder if I take off the ring mail, is it castable? Nah, not really. Alright, that's fine. Check it out. We don't need to cast it a bunch. Just enough to bust into this vault. Whoa! What's this? Thorn Hunters, alright. That was fun. And you know, that's funny, we finally found Lightning Spire. A little too late for it to matter that much, although it can be quite useful even in Zot. Where's the guy? Do we just kill him with Shatter? Without even being able... There's usually like a guy in here who's like the master of elementals or some crap. I'm trying to find him. I guess he doesn't show up here because he's... Huh. That's weird. Anyway, he often has the... I think he's guaranteed to have the Staff of Elements. But, or the Elemental Staff, but it already spawned, so instead he just got a Staff of Air, I guess. the Walmart knockoff brand, as DKegger says. That's pretty accurate, I guess. Oh, we can be paralyzed by him. It's kind of funny because, like, with BVC, we can just like BVC plus Iron Shot and kill almost anything in depths. So statue form was really quite superfluous here. Can we? I was gonna say, can we petrify the Caustic Shrikes? The answer is kind of 41%, but oh, this is not ideal. Let's blink. That's Clouds. That's not the one I wanted, but it's not terrible either. BVC, step, BVC, step, step, Clouds again. That was the one I wanted in the first place. Big damage possible here. Oh, we're out of mana. Okay, let's just Ice Blast. Okay. That could have gone poorly. But it didn't. Hey Lindris, thanks for the follow. Again, I'm on my desktop, so I don't have my alerts set up, but I am watching the queue, so I will say your name if you follow or do bits or anything like that. I do appreciate it, my friend. Enchant armor. Do we need enchant armor? I mean, we'll grab it. I guess we'll use it on the boots of running. How's Shatter coming along? Still 80%. I think we're kind of stuck using that as a brilliance thing, but that's fine because what it will do is it will let me bust into ZA5. And you know what? Hello. Hello, #1 Orb of Fire. Iron shot him to death. I see we've got the vaunted double Orb of Fire, ZOT1. How cute. Oh, let's read Fear. Let's go up. Let's not go up. Let's blink. It's kind of ugly. How about we dig? Iron shot this dude's death, hopefully. Okay, that worked. Our RF plus leaves a little something to be desired. We've only got one. But it worked out and we didn't get owned on mutation, so that's cool. Fear is invaluable, by the way, against moths. If you have a big stack of Fear in Zot, you still have a really good use for them. Guess we're training nothing but Evokes and Earth at this point. Kind of funny that we're still not even close to level 27. Hello, you have blinked me. Should we be using minus telly probably? Maybe. Use another fear. Got slowed, that sucks. It's Val Clutch. Bro, what is happening? Oh, it's just because I'm slowed. Okay, I'm gonna get this dude out. Oh, it didn't kill him. Killed him. We can do this while slowed. This is fine. Just to be sure, though, I'm gonna use a clouds. I am going to enslave the Death Cob. And then I'm going to be very sad because there is a Quicksilver Dragon here. It's in the transformation. Let's just walk away. He's slowed. He shouldn't make it next to me, and he doesn't. Linders asks me, you're going straight for Zot. Well, we have 4 runes, so I mean I don't usually do 15 runes on these streams. We're streaking right now, so it would take just an inordinate amount of time to do that. Like now, I will say this: like if people, here I'll show you. I'm gonna type request, and so my Nightbot here has this command. You can request DCS combo runs for 1,000 bits. You can bribe me to make other important in-game decisions as well. I reserve the right to decline this on a streak or tournament games if it's a particularly suicidal request. So like if somebody wanted me to do a 15 rune game, I'm easy, man. I like to please people on the stream. I like to give people what they want to see. So it's like if you're willing to bribe me a little bit, I'll take the time and I'll do whatever kind of run you want me to do, provided it doesn't just like outright murder the character that I'm playing if it's a streak game, Dude, let's go stat form so we don't get owned by the pestilence. Keep D-missile up. Dude, why is this thing invisible? He must have had a potion or something. I would agree, DKeggers, this has been a very mean Zot 1. I would not have wanted to do this on a character that was not incredibly powerful already, which luckily this character is. Although, he's still a demigod, so he lacks god abilities, which is, I'd say, unfortunate. Or marked, but it doesn't matter. Actually, you know what? Let's stand still until the mark's over. We could get shafted. Speaking of getting shafted, we should probably be doing these in reverse order. I see you have the longest streak, neat, Lindris says. As much as I'd like to claim that, I actually don't. It's just that the streak page on a Krausiak is messed up. If you want to see what the actual streaks are, you have to actually do, just like go into an info bot on Discord or in-game and type !streak and then the person. My actual longest streak is 37, so Elliptic technically has more than me, although Elliptic, 10 of those games he doesn't count because they had a bug where he was doing double damage with melee. So at that point, if you don't want to count those, then really the only person with a longer streak than me is Kunix. But those are literally all Deep Dwarf fighters. At the same time, a lot of my streak was Deep Dwarf Artificers, so kind of depends on which games you think are, quote-unquote count or not. But the 52 streak that you see is not real. If you look at it, some of them are duplicated. It's just the fact that that page is messed up. I do not have a 52 streak. Although I guess I could if I played nothing but Deep Dwarf Artifices, I could have probably pounded that out. Also, it looks like we have a viewer in the game. I'm gonna let him know. Streaming at twitch.tv/MalcolmRoseGaming if you'd care to join. Oh, we got marked. How cute. Okay, so anyway, because of the trap system, I'm avoiding exploring squares here, or tiles if you prefer. Just fighting from the staircase. Fine. Alright, now I am very carefully heading over to the downstairs. Oh, Dankest Memes, thanks. Never managed to catch you live. Thanks for the link. I mean, I've been streaming every day for a while, although I guess I've been streaming Darkest Dungeon, which is probably something I won't be streaming again. Anyway, yeah, this is bad. This is my least favorite layout for a floor in Zot. What I'm trying to do is I am trying to do Zod in reverse order. Check it out. I'm going to stat form. I have demissile up. I'm going to agi. You know, why am I teleporting? I guess I could just pull this stuff up one at a time, but you know, we have 6 haste. I'm just going to haste. I'm going to brilliance. I'm going to shatter, make a lot of noise. Fine, fine, fine. Tele will kick in. Keggers asks me not to distract you. Don't worry about that. But what would you consider a premium resource? Premium resource. Pretty good question, I guess. Probably blink scrolls are the best resource in the game. The reasoning being that they can get you out of more situations than really anything. You know? You know what would be real unfortunate is if I got freaking Quicksilver Dragoned here and lost all my stuff. So we're going to blow a bunch of acid to stop that from happening. But yeah, Blink Scrolls by far, except in Zod of course, are the best resource in the game. But it's like, you know, it just depends on the situation. Here's my general, and this is going to help you in the game if you, so listen really close to this, because like resource management is probably the most important thing in Dungeon Crawl. You have to think about what kinds of resources you've got. Blink is one that will work 100% of the time to get you out of bullshit situations. You use it, you're guaranteed to go from here to there instantly. Okay, before everything else acts, you're just gone. Alright, so if you have like 50 hit points and there's a dude that can LCS you next to you, you blink to the furthest spot, and you know for sure you are not going to die after that. That is, I'd call it, you know, you asked what was a premium resource. That's premium because, you know, very few resources act like that. You know, Fear, pretty good, right? Fear Scroll sends everything running, but it might fail. It's subject to an MR check. And you can maximize that by like, okay, well I know that Ettins, for example, have crappy MR, pretty super high chance it's going to work, but it's never guaranteed. You know, and there are some things that just doesn't work against at all, like demons. So when you're using resources, you know, you really want to look at what kind of situation you're in. Do you really need to use that blink scroll if you can afford for your resource to screw up? Sometimes it's better to use a fear scroll, even though it's not guaranteed to get you out of the problem, because you're conserving your better resources for worse situations. So it just really depends on what situation you're in. Senshi says, I recently found out that the Ziggurat figurine is pretty good for escapes, one turn to place, but nothing can follow you in. I agree entirely. It's probably the best escape tool in the entire game. The only problem with it is, well, you gotta either finish a Zig or finish Tomb to do it, and Tomb is kind of insane these days, sadly. Dude. There is a Lori Caproa next to me, but we killed it. So many acid, or excuse me, so many Quicksilver dragons. This layout would be terrible for a character that was less powerful than mine. Actually, I'm really glad this Quicksilver dragon went berserk, because now he can't breathe on me, you know? Sally Roses says, rush tomb to get Zig figurine Kappa. Yeah, right? I mean, there are some characters that can do it, but few and far between. Alright, we're slowed. I'm not sure how we got slow. Oh, there's a torpor snake. What? Alright, shut the door. Let's punch this dude. He dies, fine. Rest up a bit. There's nothing with hands coming for me. Whoa, okay, hold up. Oh, okay, wait, the monstrosity opened the door. I was like, who opened the door, man? But he's got the ability to do so. Alright, let's BVC. Let's just Iron Shot this to death. I should have my Staff of Earth on, actually. What an ugly entrance to a floor, man. Thankfully I have like the most broken spell in the game. That is to say, Vile Clutch. Hey buddy, we're just gonna swing on you. Got blinked. I could be using my minus telly ring, but I think I'd rather just have big defense. This character has very little to fear as long as I don't make real dumb decisions, you know? Let's get that magic map going. Yep, you're seeing it correctly. All the staircases are in the same spot, so you're just forced to live with that ambush, man. Alright, so I like to do Zop backwards, because shafts are real dumb. And who wants to live with shafts, you know? This is a ghost moth. We punch him to death. I like how this character is so defensive he can just sort of tab into berserked dragons. But anyway, yeah, you cannot be shafted into a branch end. It's one of the few saving graces with regards to shafts. So, you do Zot 4, you do Zot 3, you do Zot 2. You know, then if you get shafted back down to a floor you've already done, you don't really care too much. Pretty cool, right? And that is generally the optimal thing to do. Which is pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb. Another really good reason to remove traps, but good luck trying to get the devs to listen to that. Alright, let's pop on See Invisible. Sorry about the screen flashes. I have to have that because otherwise I know I'll just not even notice I'm being hit by an invisible thing. Unfortunately, we've got a clown, but he didn't do anything too bad to us. Orb of Zot says, traps almost don't bother me. Traps being triggered from anywhere they can be seen is infuriating. Well, it's both infuriating and it doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's just like a very, very lazy solution. I like to refer to it, you know, the crawl devs kind of, a lot of the time, remind me of like a clumsy, you know, you're watching a nice play or an opera or something, and then the clumsy janitor just like stumbles out onto the stage and spills his mop and bucket Like that is how I view the crawl devs and their sort of philosophy when it comes to developing this game. It feels more like, I mean, I used to think it was okay, you ready for this? I used to think it was a tragedy, and now I can see that it's a comedy. You know. Sorry to quote the Joker trailer, I had to do it. But yeah, I mean the shaft system, let's see, since she says I really don't like the shaft system, I got shafted 3 floors from D2, and then another 2 when I tried to get back. Yeah, fun, right? I mean, obviously that's like 1 in a million, but it's still pretty dumb. It's horrible. It's really, really bad design. And you may not know this, but the way the Neo traps work, you know, the Explore traps, you are more likely to get shafted, teleported, whatever, once you hit D10, right? So if you were to get shafted down to one of those levels, you're even more likely to get shafted again. So it's created this very awkward situation where it's almost always incredibly optimal to just go right into the lair as soon as you find it. Because, you know, what do you really want to get shafted to D12 and possibly have to fight wizards and skeletal warriors and stuff, like get dumped into a tiny room with a bunch of dudes? This is a real example that happened to me on a Felid, by the way. I was in a tiny room with a bunch of skeletal warriors with glaives, and a wizard blocking my path out. Blocking the only viable path out. Alright, check it out. Shafted. From Z3 to Z4. No problem, right? Suck on that, game. I'm sure that if the devs or Ebering or whoever finds out that people are doing this, because they will, because it's the optimal thing to do, I'm sure they'll quote-unquote fix it in like the worst possible way you could imagine. They're just they're gonna add like reverse shafts that send you upwards, you know? Hey, Flood Killer, what's up? In 0.24, we're going to get pneumatic tubes, DKecker says. From Futurama, yeah, maybe. Can only go down in Zot once the floor is cleared, since she says. Yeah. That would be something, wouldn't it? By the way, Dankest, thank you for the follow. Again, I do usually have alerts, but I had a little technical difficulties earlier. Also, Muffin Paradox, thank you for the follow. I'm just streaming from my desktop, which is Linux, and Linux is not a big fan of the streaming thing. It's called a browser. What is it called? A browser capture, something like that. But basically, it's the thing that allows Twitch alerts to be possible, and I just don't have it set up because it's really janky on Linux. Dankus Meme says, no problem, been a long time watcher of your YouTube videos. Awesome, man, I hope they've been helpful to you, dude. It's a very complicated game, and I like that I can put something out there that can kind of help people to understand it better, you know? We are out of mana, dude. Let's go stat for him and get this tally to kick in, right? Freaking Mark Trap. Did I finish C1? Yeah, I did. Yeah, Flood Killer is asking, did you remove the chat box thing in your stream layout? Again, that's, that is a thing that's handled with Streamlabs for me. What is that called? Hold on, I referenced it earlier in a conversation on Discord. Browser source, yeah. So it's this thing in streaming software called a browser source that long story short is it gets sent a signal whenever I get like a follow or a subscribe, or someone sends me bits, or you know, someone messages in the chat box. And I just don't have it set up on this machine because I switched from my laptop to my desktop earlier. Hey Wesley, yeah, we're about to win. We're about to win the 9th game in the streak. By the way, thanks for the follow, Senshi. No, I mean, I'm definitely, honestly, I have dungeoncrawlstonesoup.com, that's my website, and the devs are not particularly happy about that, but I might put a fork on that page. You know, I don't want to make some random BS fork that totally, you know, misses the point of Dungeon Crawl, you know? I want to make something that is a spiritual successor, but run by people that actually give just a little bit of a shit about the community, because right now this game is unfortunately being developed and run and sort of administered by people who are just incredibly negative and incredibly hostile to the entire player base. Like, it's a lot of the people who play this game don't know about this, but they're jerks. And that's the opposite of how I'd want to run it. And I think a lot of people who make forks have this idea that they have to make these massive changes to the fundamentals of the game. You know, like for example, bcrawl, I was really excited about it because it's like, bhoth is a really smart guy, he's a really cool guy, you know, he's willing to put some changes into the game that I've been wanting to see for a while. But then he goes and he makes these fundamental changes to the core, what I would call the core of the game, by making it so every time you go down a staircase you might get teleported. But then he takes out traps, you know, which is good, but he adds this other thing that makes the game virtually unplayable for a person like me. So it's like, if I was going to do a fork, I'd want to keep the spirit of DCSS, you know? And I think that almost every fork tries to make some, like, insanely fundamental change to the game, and I don't think that's the direction to go in. You know? Dankus Meme Gaming says, yeah, they've been tons of help. My videos, I assume. Between you and UV4, I feel pretty confident with how the game works, with the exception of Extended. Well, Extended, you gotta, you know, you just have to experience it. And I don't do a lot of, you know, nobody really makes a ton of Extended videos because it's just so tedious. I mean, if someone donated bits and said, hey, I want you to do an Extended run, I would do it. But otherwise, it's just kind of tedious. It takes a long time, and I don't even know if a lot of people want to see it, you know. Managed to get 2 wins, he says. MiFi VSBE. That's pretty good. Vinestalker Berserker is no joke. Vinestalkers are kind of weak, so that's cool. But have a hard time with casters and hybrids since mistakes get punished even more severely, for sure. Got to get better at recognizing dangerous situations and how best to respond to them with the consumables I have. Well, that is one of the #1 skills for being good at Dungeon Crawl. For sure. Yeah, Extended Lindras is all runes. Yeah, Wesley, I know my chat widget isn't appearing on screen. Basically, my laptop overheated earlier and was, it was thermal throttling, so to speak, so I had to switch to my desktop, which is a Linux machine, and all, like I was trying to explain a minute ago, the alerts, which includes the chat box, just isn't working. I guess what I could do is I could do what I did before, which is like expand out a chat box window and put it on the screen. But I mean, we're pretty much at the end of the run, so I think it's okay. I'm just gonna narrate the chats, and it'll be okay for the video. Yeah, Flood Killer. He said you feel a strange sense of stasis based. I mean, this is why I took off Ring of Phasing and put on my minus telly ring, because God knows, I mean, oh, you stumble into a teleport trap. Imagine getting jumped on this character into here or here or here or here. It'd be hell, you know. Anyway, check it out. We're gonna have us some fun. Let's do we have shatter? Shatter 10%. Well, we're gonna get it even lower. Brilliance. bust in here. One-shot the Ancient Lich. Hell yeah. Flood killer. Dude, I've been teletrapped into Zot5 lungs and I don't wish that on anybody else. Well, when I first started getting into streaking in this game, I was basically obsessed with dealing with the eventuality of getting teletrapped into the Zot5 lungs, because if you think about it, in the late game, it is the absolute worst thing that can happen to you, isn't it? Dang, we got frail. Oh well. So you really want your character to be able to handle that crap. And I used to think that you basically, to guarantee survival, you had to switch to Zen. I went like full Leo Little Book. Which is, you know, it's good, you know, it'll save you. But that's not actually the case. I think that with enough evocations, sacks of spiders, box of beasts, things like that, you can probably make it work. But really you just want a minus telly item. That's the ideal, so it just cannot happen, you know. I feel like you are being watched by something. How cute. Dude, do I have an Invis potion? Weirdly enough, I don't. By the way, Wesley, I know that I'm using stat form, but I'm actually not, you know. This character wants to use Iron Shot and Shatter way more than he wants to use stat form. I'll leave it to you as an exercise to see if you can tell why. Let's pull back here to this hallway. Dude, we really don't want to be Zot parad. Iron Shot finishes off the golem. Boom, there it is. Clown Pie, Blueberry on a natural silence engulfs you. How ridiculous is this? Up we go. And you know the insult to injury is that little silence is only like 3 tiles or 2 tiles big. It's like the devs want you to still be getting hit by liches, you know. Can you tell that I think that clowns are a really dumb mechanic? Some of the stuff the clown pies can do is just outrageous. They can polymorph you, which takes away all your MR if any of your items that aren't an amulet is giving you MR. You know, which means that you can then get paralyzed very easily from like an Ancient Lich. It's very, very unfair. That's okay. That's okay, because I've got a very powerful character here. I wonder if I'm hungerless on Shatter. No, not even a little bit. Huh. Flood Killer says, if the purpose of a clown pie effect is mainly to silence you, I can understand not wanting to have a huge radius to prevent wacky interactions, which is really limited to A-liches and draconians, but still. I mean, I don't know, it would be kind of nice if you could at least use it as a tactical thing. I mean, to me, it seems like it's set up in almost the least interactive way possible, you know? Look at this. God damn. I mean, I don't know. To me, most of the fun in Dungeon Crawler, any game like this, is interactivity, you know? Using the challenge of the game against itself in really interesting and clever ways. But it's like the devs don't want you to come up with interesting solutions to problems. This is so dumb. Also, I will say that it's pretty surprising that we're getting hit with so many pies considering they can be blocked by shields. But that's why you have to treat every single clown as a grade A top tier threat now. Alright. Grab the orb. Get it, Asteriously says. What's up, man? How you doing? You know what? We don't even need to tally. Let's just... Are we good to go? I think we're good to go. Let's grab it. Wow, we actually want a telly. Let's take off this minus telly ring. This'll work. Let's pull this up. Let's regen. Let's drink some mutation, yeah? We have some bad ones. Hey, now we got some good ones. Resting with regen up. And just walk away from most things. No Panlords yet. You know what? Let's just make a forest. And walk on out of here. Okay, we're in the dungeon, so this shadow demon is kind of a joke. I love the fact that the forest actually does a good job of blocking dudes on the orb run. Even Panlords, it can drag them away, I think. Wow, what an easy ascension. That's, that was a little less exciting than I had thought. GG. I'm probably not going to start my next game right now. I mean, I'll start it, but I'm not going to, like, do anything with it. Let's just see what our entrance looks like. Let me make sure what the next thing is. So here's me, and then here's Elliptic. So I've won 9 games. Oh, it updated immediately. So Tengu Conjurer, Cobalt Earth Elementalist, Vinestalker Earth Elementalist, Naga Necromancer, DDFi, KoCj, OpMo, Centaur Chaos Knight, Demigod Earth Elementalist, and then the next one is the Minotaur Chaos Knight. Yup. And on the Minotaur Chaos Knight, gotta go with the hand axe, right? The coolest thing about these dudes is that you can just, like, put your defenses up, you know, and your weapon, and just, like, leave it alone, you know? Floodkiller says if you win this next game, then you're probably done with the hardest part. Yeah, I'm a little worried about the human Abyssal Knight later on, But for the most part, I'd agree. Also, there's a Naga Berserker coming up, and Nagas are always obnoxious and sort of hard to win, even a Berserker. And there's a Formicid Scald, which could be incredibly stupid. But for the most part, I agree with you. The purest RNG games are going to be behind me once I finish this. Probably the hardest thing is the Formicid Scald, I think, coming up on these. There's also a there's a Centaur Air Elementalist. That's going to be weird. But yeah, we have to do a high elf assassin after this, so you get to see an older version of the game, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I have like 17 viewers right now. You guys want me to keep going? I guess I could. Up to you. Senshi is asking, any Minotaur casters? Good question. I think this is the last Minotaur in the streak. No, there's a... Let's see. There's a Minotaur Abyssal Knight. Yeah, no Minotaur casters. And I think if I had to play a Minotaur caster, we'd probably not play a caster, you know what I mean? Like, just take the book, drop it. Well, you can't drop books anymore, but you know what I mean. Just pick up a weapon and smash some stuff. Alright, I don't know, what time is it? About 10 p.m. Maybe. Well, here, I'll go ahead and end this video, so YouTube people, look forward to the next win in the series soon.